What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Seth the Line Surgeon. And you already know what time it is. Tipsy Talk. Alright people, yes, this is a random tipsy talk. You gotta be prepared, people. You gotta stay on your toes, because you never know when I might drop a tipsy talk. You know, might hit you with the jab step or the step back. Tipsy talk. This is tipsy talk. I actually made this tipsy talk like a couple of weeks ago, probably like a month ago, when I first got my tiller. Now, I haven't been using it recently. If y'all don't know, I have the Cub Cadet Artie 75. Oh my gosh, that thing is a beast. And like I said, the reason I'm so excited about this, and the reason I'm talking about this, I know I don't talk about a lot of my equipment, but the reason is because I don't have other equipment to compare it to. And what I mean by that is, like, I demoed the Pro Stance this summer, but I've never actually used another standing mower in a working capacity. So it's kind of hard for me to say, oh, the Pro Stance is the best stander out on the market, when that's the only stander that I've used on the market. Or i.e., this trimmer, this Echo trimmer, is the best trimmer on the market, and it's the only trimmer that I've used. Now, will I say that the Pro Stance and my Echo trimmers are awesome tools? Yes, they are, but I can't say that they're the best. But in this particular situation, why I'm so excited about my Cub Cadet tiller is that I have used other tillers. To be exact, I've used Frankie tiller, which if y'all follow me, y'all know Frankie tiller. If y'all don't, y'all need to Google Frankie tiller. Just Google Frankie tiller Seth, and some videos will come up. Lots of videos come up. I've used the BCS tiller, which I've seen me use. I rent that from this rental place if I have big jobs. And then I was interested in looking at a DR tiller, DR equipment tiller. That I'm so glad. It's kind of like I tell y'all, bro, like, sometimes I think that I am meant to do this lawn care business, because certain things happen and things end up falling in my lap, just like this Cub Cadet tiller. I was definitely not thinking about getting a Cub Cadet tiller. It just so happened, you know, the circumstances, this fell into my lap. Now, I will tell you, the whole reason I was looking into getting a walk behind a walk behind DR equipment tiller. If y'all know DR, look them up. The whole reason I was thinking about doing that was because at the beginning of the season, I was actually thinking about getting a tow behind tiller, right? It kind of hit me. I was thinking about getting like a compact tractor or something. It was there like $15,000, and then it hit me. I was like, I wonder if somebody makes tow behind tillers, you know, like with their own motor on it. You just hook it up to your zero turn or your 4x4 and you just tow it, and they do. And DR was one of the first people that came up. So all like this season, I was looking at DR equipment, DR tow behind tillers. They got brush hogs or whatever. And I was just looking at all the equipment. I get little brochures in the mail now from them. And so I said, you know what? I kind of got to the middle of the season. You know, my Frankie Tiller was doing this thing. You know, when I needed him, I pulled him out the shed. He was doing his thing. He would till up, you know, most of the time it was small stuff. Only like one time did I have to use Frankie Tiller to till up somebody's whole front yard. But I guess as my business has grown, more and more people have asked me to till up bigger and bigger areas. And so it's just like, you know, that the hair stand up on the back of my head is like, Frankie Tiller's gonna die one day. Not to be mean about Frankie Tiller, but I just knew the day was coming. So it actually stopped working. I had to do some adjustments to Frankie Tiller. I got him back working. It was so crazy. I had this job I had to do, and because Frankie Tiller was down in the meantime, I had like two jobs. No, one job. I had to rent the BCS tiller, right? And so the BCS tiller, y'all see me, I've rented it and used it for probably about five or six jobs. It's a big commercial mower, but I'm gonna get into the details of why I like this Cub Cadet tiller thus far more than I like the BCS. Anywho, the Frankie Tiller went down. I rented the BCS. I used it. Then I'm like, man, I got this new job coming up, and I'm like, I can save myself $100 because it cost me $100 to rent this BCS tiller. I can save myself $100 if I just get Frankie Tiller fixed. So I sat down one afternoon and took it apart and got it working. I'm like, oh yes, motor running good, you know. All right, let's go. Went to the job. I'm tilling, boy. I'm tilling it up. Snap. I look down. I noticed that like it's basically the handle of Frankie Tiller is connected to the frame at 2 points. One part of it has snapped, and I'm like, in the back of my head, it's like I should stop. Then the other side, you know how you got the angel and you got the devil on one shoulder. The angel was like, you need to stop. You need to like salvage Frankie Tiller. And then the devil on my other shoulder is like, bro, you need to make this money. And so guess what I did? I kept on telling. Next thing you know, snap, snap. Both sides broke off, and I'm like, and it was a pain. I literally, because you got to remember that's an old tiller. I had to literally lift that whole thing onto the trailer. So I lifted it onto the trailer, and then y'all saw the video. To give a little background, I literally had the DR tiller. I forget the model number, but it's like the biggest DR tiller that they make. It's like, I want to say like $800. It was on sale for like $600 or $700, something like that, if you buy it online. Or yeah. And so I literally had it in the shopping cart online to buy it like 2 times before I went to the GIE, and I just never bought it. You know, I just never pulled the trigger to buy it. And then I went to the GIE and I said maybe I can see an actual one there. I ended up, the DR booth at the GIE actually had the tiller I wanted. So I saw it, but I didn't get to actually run it. It wasn't in the demo area. So one thing they told me is, I was telling them, yeah, I was about to order it. I'm gonna order it when I get back home. And it was like, well, you should find a dealer, because if you order it and send it to your house, now you're gonna have to put it together. But if you get it from a dealer, even if you call a dealer and order it from them, when it gets there, they'll put it together for you, make sure everything's good, and you can just come and pick it up. And I'm like, you know what? That's probably the best bet, the best thing to do, right? So I get back home from the GIE. I'll call around. This is like a Saturday. I need a tiller on Monday, right? One place, the place that was closest to me, it was closed on the weekend. The other place was open on the weekend, so I called them and I asked them, did they have this particular model DR tiller? You know what they said? They said, yeah, we got it. I'm like, already, yo. Let's go, But we just sold it. So I'm like, oh man. So they said, but we have this Cub Cadet Artie 75 here. Yeah, I'm like, I didn't even know what that was at the moment. I said, is that comparable to the, the DR equipment tiller, And they say, yeah, it's comparable. I think it's actually better, they said. I said, we'll find out. So I went online, I started looking up videos of the tiller. I couldn't find the RT75, but there is some videos of the RT65, I think, online. So I saw that, and basically that's just a step down from the RT75. So I go there, and this is the part where I tell y'all, like, how I feel like sometimes it's meant for me to be in this business because some stuff happens. I could have just as easily ordered that DR tiller online. I could have just as easily called this dealer and they had a DR tiller available, but they didn't. And because me having the conversations with the people at the GIE, it caused me to call this establishment and end up getting this Cub Cadet tiller, which I am so glad about. I'll go into the details of why I like this one better than the DR tiller, but I just want to say, like, hands down, it's way better than the DR tiller. I'm so glad I got it. Like, this thing, it's kind of crazy. It's like, an example I could give, it's like an iron. Like, we have in our house, like, an iron that me and my wife, it's actually my wife's iron, I think. And she had this iron since college. And we still have it, right? But it's kind of like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? The iron still works. But at the same time, I will go to other places, hotels or friend's house, and I actually use that iron, and they got this brand new fancy iron, and it's kind of like you don't realize what you're missing until you use the latest and greatest. You know what I mean? I'm using this new fancy iron. I'm like, man, my iron sucks. And that's kind of how it was with this Cub Cadet tiller. Like, this thing, I love this thing more than the BCS tiller. The BCS tiller is a big commercial tiller. Cub Cadet tiller is a residential tiller, I want to say, but I just love it more. All right, comparing the Cub Cadet tiller to the Franken tiller, off top, it's a rear tine tiller. It's self-propelled, so it beats Franken tiller right there. Franken tiller is heavy, and it digs in the dirt good, but it don't dig in the dirt like this freaking BCS. I mean, this freaking Cub Cadet tiller. Now, the BCS tiller, it digs into dirt really good. One plus pro and it's a con is the fact that on the BCS tiller, it has separate controls. You know, part of it, it has a control for the drive mechanism to move the tires, and then it has a separate control for the tines. But the con to that is that it's kind of like it makes more moving parts. Like I have to sit here and try to get that one part in the gear, then have to get the other part in the gear, I have to take it out of the gear. With the Cub Cadet, it's like one lever. I mean, like you know, like a lawnmower. Like when or if people use a Timemaster, you start the Timemaster up, and then you pull down the lever to start the blades. It's kind of like that. Ooh, excuse me. So, the other thing that I like about the Cub Cadet tiller is that it's light. See, the pro, and like I said, the pro about having the different levers for the drive and the tines on the BCS tiller is that I can put it in the gear. Like say I just want to move the tiller without moving the tines, I could just put it into gear and I could just let it drive. But the thing about putting it in the gear, letting the tires drive without the tines moving, it's slow. It's so slow. And the other option to move it is to put it into neutral and to push it. But the thing is so heavy. The thing is like heavy. I don't know how heavy it is, but the thing is ridiculous heavy. It's hard to push. But at the same time, if you're trying to get to, I remember one time I rented it to use on this area where I had to like get, it was probably about 200 yards. And I had to literally push it 200 yards because it was way too slow to, you know, put it in drive and just chug a lug. The the Cub Cadet tiller, while you can't put it just into gear for the tires to move separate from the tines, but the fact of the matter is it's way lighter than the BCS tiller. So I can put it into neutral and push it way easier than I can the BCS tiller. So that's one of the biggest benefits. And like I said, I don't know if I did not know how to adjust the tines on a BCS tiller, but this thing makes mincemeat out of dirt. Like, I haven't used it on hard dirt. I've used it on like my yard, which is decent dirt, and some other that flower bed that I did that was decent dirt. I haven't used it on hard dirt, but everything I've used it on, it like destroys it, bro, and makes it like literally it's like a topsoil making machine. So I love this thing, bro. I literally just thought about tilling up my front yard for no reason, bro. That's how beautiful this machine is. So it's on my sheds, you know, I'm on my trailer. It's been sitting on my trailer, and I'm gonna use it for something. I'm gonna make sure I get y'all some footage, but I just want to do this quick tipsy talk. Tell you about my BCS tiller. Of course, it will be another tipsy talk this week. Stay tuned. But you know, I just want to do this random tipsy talk since I'm out here. I just did a 1 minute tipsy talk. So if y'all like those 1 minute tipsy talks, let me know in the comments. Anywho, thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe. Stay tuned. Yes, sir.